Hi, I'm Catherine.
And I'm Lynn, and we are a coffee break
with Cat and Mom.
Cheers.
Cheers. Welcome back to our podcast. Today is episode 38, and today, clearly, we are going to be talking about the 4th of July. We just took our Jell-O shots, which is something that my mom does every year for the 4th of July, and she does the layers, the red, white, and blue.
Yes, it takes, well, I mean, I guess you can do it like one day, but, you know, I've always wanted to make sure that the layers wouldn't bleed into each other, so it takes me 3 days. And I had to bring it back. I didn't do them for a couple years, but we had a friend coming down that used to live on their street, and we used to do
this
Jell-O shots.
This podcast episode will be talking about our big 4th of July parties that we threw every year because they were the talk of the town, and we did a great job of throwing the best party ever. But first, our weekend review, which obviously the 4th.
Yep.
We went to the beach, and
they announced rain, which actually, I don't know if you guys can hear it. There's probably going to be a rainbow because it's raining, thunder, but there's a little bit of blue sky.
But it'll be some pretty background noise, the rain and the thunder.
They announced rain all weekend, and we were very lucky yesterday. We were able to spend our first 4th of July on the beach.
Yep.
We've done that on a lake one time. It was actually 14 years ago because the memories came back on my phone with the Obanoff's family.
Yep.
But it was our first time at the beach, so we didn't really know what we were going to do. It's our first time in Stuart, Florida. We didn't know really what we were going to do, but we know for next year now, but it was great. The weather was fantastic. I will say Catherine has a mega sunburn.
It hurts. Butt. Yeah. My butt swelled up like 3 times the size it is. And it's like there's like my butt crack where the white line is, and then it like swells up. Yep. And so it looks like I have a BBL. So, free butt lift, but it's extremely painful.
I had to put aloe on it yesterday.
It hurts to like sit right now, especially with these jeans on. I had to sleep with like layers of aloe last night, so I'm in a lot of pain.
Kind of funny.
But overall, it was a lot of fun. The water, not a single wave. It was flat.
It was perfect.
You could just chill in the water.
But today, let me tell you, I went with your sisters, and we saw the storm, to the south of us, and we're like, oh, it's going to go that way. Like, it's not going to be on us or whatever. And then next thing you know, I mean, you still could see the rain was not on us, but then we heard the lifeguards, like, starting their horn. And it's like, we're new here, right? We're just like, what does that mean? And all of a sudden, instead of being green flag, it was red flag, no swimming. We're like, well, then we'll leave, And I don't know if it rained there because we came back home and it was kind of sunny, not sunny, but tomorrow's going to be another beautiful day. So 3 days at the beach. I haven't done this since I moved here, so kind of excited. We're doing a lot of stuff.
Do you not have work tomorrow?
We're Sunday tomorrow.
Oh my gosh, tomorrow's Sunday. I thought...
Yeah. It's a 3-day weekend.
I thought tomorrow was Monday. I'm so confused.
I've been jamming all my chores in the morning so I could have my afternoon free, and so, yeah.
Well, yeah, because this podcast is coming out Sunday. But...
It was lightning, so it's going to thunder pretty soon.
Yeah. But then after the beach, we came back, rinsed off, kind of chilled for a little bit, got ready, and then we went to downtown Stuart, and they had some food trucks, activities to do, like little games for kids, face painting, which I did get face painting because you're never too old for that.
The games,
I got fireworks on my face because, I mean, why not? It was so cute. Yeah. I didn't think it was going to be my whole face, but she really just went big there. And then there is always live music right on like the water at Stuart, so they had a band there. Wasn't my favorite, so we just like walked around a little bit.
I thought she had a good voice, but
she tried to Fergie it. She tried to Fergie it and jazz it up. Yeah, and you just like, especially Tainted Love, you don't have to jazz that up anymore. All right, Tainted Love already.
She had a huge repertoire. It's just like her face. For me, her facial expression when she was singing, I had a hard time. I mean, it was not that bad. The younger girls were just a little kind of bored, but... And
there were a couple... I mean, most of Stuart's very good people, very composed, mature crowd, but there were some druggies up in the front doing some crazy dances.
Drunk, let me tell you. They were dancing, but they were not bothering anybody. They were just...
No, they were kind of just doing some crazy shit up there.
But we saw he had to be in his 80s. On the song of Britney Spears that she was singing.
And he was just up there having fun.
Toxic. I think it was her song, Toxic. And he decided to go and dance, and I had to film it for you guys because I didn't know if you guys were watching it or not from the top because we split for a little bit, and everybody was just applauding so hard, and the singer was like, "Oh, thank you." We're like, "Well, we're not applauding you, really. We're applauding the man, the old man." He was just boogieing. He was so cute.
And then there were some couples up there too. The first couple had rhythm. And then
they knew how to dance.
Yeah, they knew how to dance. The second couple that was up there, the guy in the purple shirt and the girl that had her beautiful red heels matching her red top.
The girl,
she did the sandwich method.
Lady,
She looked beautiful, and they were way off rhythm. One was dancing with her legs, the guy was dancing with his arms, and it was just like
he was off beat.
There was no beat whatsoever. And Bryce was like, I was like, they had the two couples, right? And he's like, that's the one that we're gonna be when we're older, the one that had zero rhythm. And I was like, yeah, you're right. Bryce is my boyfriend.
The singer really liked Bryce's T-shirt, which was kind of funny because
I picked it out for him.
And the whole story behind the 4th of July is to get we got our independence from England, and she made him wear a T-shirt that says England, like
it says London. I got him when we went to London.
England in capital letters.
It's his like only red shirt. So I said this shirt, and then I realized it said London. I was like, well, I mean, just wear it. I think it'd be funny. Yeah. It'd be funny. And then she pointed out she's moving to the UK, the main singer. And I was like, she just kept talking about how she's so excited to move to the UK next month. And I'm like, girl, this is not the day to be bragging about that. Like, not the day.
But then we all stayed because this is on the water. So we all stayed on the coastal. So we just stayed on the docks that they have there and boardwalk, and
they had fireworks.
I know it said it was 30 minutes, but I think it was 20 minutes.
Yeah, it was 20 minutes. It was like just over 20 minutes. Last 5 minutes was insane. They were just shooting up all the fireworks. And at the end, it kind of looked like they accidentally set off every firework that they owned, because it was just.
And it was like all at the same time, but it was kind of cool because you could see Hutchinson Island, very, very rich island, and a lot of people had some big fireworks like we used to have in Iowa, so we could see that too. So that was kind of cool. And there's a huge lightning show from a storm that never hit us, thank goodness.
It was so cool though to see the lightning, the fireworks in the distance, and then our fireworks. But it was just really cool to see fireworks on the water for the first time.
Yeah. Oh, and I had brought during the day at the beach, I had brought a cooler with some Jello shots.
So it was very festive day. We had a lot of fun. And then we stopped at that surf shop, Ohana surf shop, and that was very cool. It was very
I forgot about that.
Aesthetic. It was just happy vibes in there.
They had dogs, so that was just I was happy.
Yeah.
Could pet their dogs. They were so nice. Such nice dogs. Yeah.
But we are called a coffee break for a reason. Yeah. Every episode we go and review a small coffee shop, and we come back and let you guys know how it is to promote small businesses, and which I think I already just said. But we went to Roasted Records. And I have some pictures, so I might put it up on our Instagram or here. But it was so cool. The outside of it is all clear. It's just windows. You can see right in. And then their sign, Roasted Records, it's a vinyl. And then you go in, and you can buy vinyls there and coffee. And we both got the matcha with strawberry puree. And it was amazing.
It was really good. It was a bit too sweet for me.
I told her sweet because I like mine sweet, so my bad. But I loved it. The strawberry puree, it was really satisfying to look at too. Before I mixed it, it was
no, it doesn't matter because your straw's at the bottom, and sometimes when it's just on the top, you kind of don't get it. That one's at the bottom, so every single sip.
We gotta mix that, yeah.
Yeah, every single sip had the strawberries. It was amazing.
So if you are into sweet, you can say semi-sweet or just unsweetened. But I asked for sweet. Mine was, so
she ordered
it.
So.
And then my boyfriend and I and my mom, we went and looked at the vinyls, and they had some for $20, $15, $10, $5, and then there's more expensive ones up top. But it was just such a cool vibe. There's people doing their homework in there, some people doing work, but it was just small and cozy. And I love when they mix the vinyl vibes with coffee vibes. So very cool. So if you guys are near Stuart, Florida, downtown Stuart, that is where you'll find Roasted Records. Super cool place. The lady was so nice working there, so definitely recommend. Go check it out. They had a lot of very cool specials. Super creative. I was gonna get one of them, but I always go with my matchas as of now.
We'll go back.
I don't know.
So far everything that we've tried in in Stewart, we've been going more than once, so
Yeah.
kind of like them all. So that's
So,
really
I mean,
cool.
if we go back, we'll let you guys know how that other, like, I'll probably get a latte of some sort. I'll let you guys know how it is. So, go check out Roasted Records. It's amazing. Also, very cool and creative name, Roasted Records.
Well, yeah, and then
The
there's
vinyls and
records.
the cover.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That,
I like it.
that or a bookstore. I like that with a coffee
Yeah.
shop. So
Or all three combined.
yeah, and then
Roasted,
like, and then a
roasted
studio for us to
Records
do
and
this.
Reads.
Yeah, no, but and then a studio for us to do this. You know.
Yeah.
That's in the works.
Speakeasy
That's in the works.
downstairs.
Yeah, we're gonna speak easy downstairs.
But that is our copy review of this episode, and now we'll dive into our topic of the 4th of July
Yes.
while we have the rain sounds in the back. So if you're getting cozy in bed, try not to fall asleep with the rain sounds. So I'll let her start because I don't know how you guys started this like idea of hosting these big 4th of July parties.
Well, first, I'm Canadian. Well, I'm dual citizen now,
Yeah.
but I'm Canadian, so I've never celebrated the 4th of July.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, I moved to the United States to go to Palmer College of Chiropractic on July 4th, 1996. In retrospective, like I think that my parents and I could have maybe have thought that process.
Yeah, that's
a little
pretty
bit. Maybe
dumb.
like the 3rd or the 5th would have been a better idea, but for us, we've never celebrated the 4th of July. So
Mhm.
like, oh shit, that's Saturday. We're going. That's what they were. So, anyways, I was like long at the immigration. I remember this because we were driving two vehicles with all my shit, in the car, but in the truck. But anyway, when your dad and I have celebrated, with my friends, but just, like you go downtown and you
Yeah.
go do the fun things and you look at the fireworks. I don't even really remember celebrating hard the 4th of July until your dad and I started to have people over.
yeah.
So our first home, clearly you were not even born. Your sister was, I think she was born in June. So it was the first time we had people over for the 4th of July in our backyard.
Oh, wow.
So it's been 23 years. Well, it was 20 years, when we separated, but, every year it just got a little bit more people. And then just like, okay, well, let's just everybody bring something, to eat, and we'll have the kegs or we'll have different beers. And then we went to what we call the big house, the one that that had the U-shaped driveway, and we had a humongous garage, extended, wide, whatever. So I would hide with like kind of like red whatever drapes or whatever
Yeah.
we had. I would hide all the garage, so it was all red, white, and blue. And then we would put up, tables, and people would bring their food, and we always had like a bunch of food, and took care of the booths. I remember that. We had games, we had music and things like that. And then we moved to the house.
And it's
Benwood.
yes, and that is again still in Iowa. A little bit more out in the country, so it's just like bigger yards
The
and
neighbor's not right next to you.
yeah. So it was just I don't know. You had more of the country feel, and we had a pool in the backyard, and it was like what an acre or so,
Yep,
something like
in an
that.
acre yard.
And I swear they invited everybody's friend and their friend and their friend.
It was our same. We always had a good group of friends.
yes.
Of friends of friends,
And-
so we always had, and family, we always had a ton of people. But
Well, I will say that my mom and dad were like, and her friend group were known to throw parties with themes. So she hosted it was a 20s themed like party at the house.
Yeah.
Um,
we had a Fancy Nancy
yes.
one time at the house.
And everybody dressed up and brought food like on theme. It was decorated on theme. And I remember sitting downstairs and we just got like the food brought down to us, and we had a babysitter downstairs.
Yeah.
And a movie on, and that was, fun for us because we got to get the food, and
We were
all
the
fun
party
cake
house. I
pops
would say
and-
we always had people
yeah,
coming over. I've always done that. That's how I grew up
Yeah.
because we had the house with the pool, and my mom and my dad's family, but especially my mom's family, is very close, and we always had almost every other weekend people over
Mhm.
during the summer for sure, and then during the winter it was like maybe not all the family, but still having a lot of people over. So for me, it was just like, okay, now that's what we do.
Yeah.
My brother took over too when he had a house with a pool back home. So
and your friend group was just like, I think everybody also did because her friend for Halloween threw big
oh yeah,
parties.
so our friend Peggy,
Yeah,
she's the Halloween person. So like where we had the 4th of July, she had Halloween. Our house was always creepy as hell decorated. I mean,
Her costumes were always
Amazing.
creepy as hell, but sexy and
it's-
scary.
but so amazing.
Yeah.
All the details. She would get even like contacts to make it crazy in her eyes. But the food that she would, and they had like, open bar as well. Eventually we, brought our own drinks. So maybe that was before, but she had like plastic corpse and we were eating like some shit that looked like worms or whatever. And it was amazing food she was making, but out of corpse and stuff. I mean, it was amazing. So
Yeah.
she had that. I had the 4th of July. So everybody had something, like, oh, this is the house that you go. Like one had the Kentucky Derby. So it was always at their house that we would, big hat and the whole thing, so everybody had their whatever.
Yep.
For me, it was that. And then it was so funny because I was still just Canadian with a green card holder. I was going through the process, which is doable. Takes a little while, but it's doable. And I remember your dad said, you are the biggest patriotic person I know without being fully American yet. So when I became an American, which I remember, I think it was in June. So one of our friend, the twins' dad, Katie and Jenna's dad, had a flag flown above our house and had it folded for me with your dad had taken, I'm guessing, the certificate that I got that said I was American and had it all framed up together. I was crying. I thought it was the coolest thing ever. But so when we eventually moved into the Venwoods
house
Estates, we decided to invite the entire neighborhood. That way we were not going to be in trouble with making noise.
Yeah, and we had a cop on our street too, so we invited him, but Dad knew him from...
Oh my gosh, we had cops in our backyard because they were friends with us. And then cops would always show up because there was always one Karen that said we were making too much noise. And they knew between 10:30 we had to shut down. Not the party, but because we had bands coming over and playing.
Yeah.
So we had bands coming in to set up at about 5 p.m. and they would start playing at 7.
Yeah, their name... we had 50 Shades of Rock.
That was
our last...
at least 3-4 years. At the end they played. We had other people before, and of course we had like the huge stereo system and stuff like that playing when they were not, playing when they were not there. But that was amazing. And little did we know is when it was 2020, and I remember this because your sister graduated in 2020, they didn't have graduation or this and that. So it was something on Facebook that a mom had started, and you could just put your name down. You were tagged with a kid, and you would make a basket and bring the basket to their house. You would have to communicate with the parents, and then you go. And the kid that I got was across the back street, Wells Ferry Road. And I remember going that little street, and they're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe, are you the house with the party? It's like, yeah, why? I was like, oh my gosh, we're going to be in trouble because of thunder. And she's like, no, we actually love to sit outside, watch your fireworks because we had amazing big fireworks going on at night. And we listened to the band all the time. Like, we loved your parties. And it's like, we all know that there was somebody, and so it was on their street that somebody called the cops every year, and they would come and we're like, it's okay, they're going to be up and playing until 10:30. So because we had the pool, we had pool games, we always had we had
what's the
sandbag?
Well, but we had a sandbag contest
tournament,
and you could win something at the end.
Yeah, I would always get
like it was a big gift too at the end too, like a big prize. There was also the last few years we had the thing where you like hit the ball with the racket.
Okay.
Yeah, that. And we always set that up in the morning.
We had
volleyball. We had a volleyball net.
Yes, but you guys were doing the stars, like spraying the stars on the grass. Remember?
Oh my gosh, we would
decorate our back and front
yard. We would
yard.
cut out a hole of a star in cardboard, and then we'd lay the cardboard down and take the spray paint.
Yep.
And we'd spray just red, white, and blue stars all over the grass. And then we'd set up the tables, get a festive table cover.
I had over 8 ginormous bins of just decoration. Not even plates and stuff. That was all inside in our basement, kitchen there. But all the decorations for all the tables.
The front of the house was decked out. The back of the house was decked out. The pool, we had flags around the pool.
Just to line up our driveway. I mean, at one point, I probably had over 100 flags.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
But we invited really just everybody.
Well, the thing is that we were our biggest family was our swim family.
Mm-hmm.
So all of our friends and their kids were, swimmers. So that's who was coming. There was a line plus the neighborhood, plus our, friends that.
But even if they're people that we even I had to, at one point, I went up a grade in math or in French because my first language was French. So in 8th grade, I'd go up to the high school in the morning, first block for French, and then I'd have a driver drive me down back to the middle school for my next block, which I'd be a little bit late for. But I like just connected with him, and he was kind of like a grandpa to me because he drove me every day of the whole year. And that's like something I invited to the 4th of July party. So it was really just everybody that we kind of like connected with. And then those people could bring their friends along or their wives.
We had an older couple that got lost. Like I think it was sometime in the month of May or June of whatever year it was. And I mean older, and he had served in, I don't know if it was the Army or Marines, I can't remember, but anyways, he lost a leg. And he had his convertible, and then it was so cute because
him and his wife.
Like I think it was high school sweetheart, and they were in their 70s, way.
Oh, maybe 80.
Yeah, it was. I mean, at the end, I think they were in their 80s, and they came in, and I remember your dad helped them how to get back into town. They just didn't know like which street to take, and then we invited them, and for at least 5 years in a row, they came.
Well, because they get to the wrong house. They were very confused. My dad came out and. I don't know if you just said this, but he was like a very big fan of Dad.
Oh yeah,
it just happened to be that he pulled up to our house, and he was like, "Oh my gosh, you're Pat Miletich." Yeah. So that was very cool, and they were so sweet.
But that driver that was driving you knew them, then they met there at the 4th of July, and sometime my parents were there too.
Mm-hmm.
So it would take me like. I would start decorating at least a week and a half before.
Oh yeah, I would have all. We were like the place to have pool parties over the summers
all the time,
and we would just constantly have sleepovers and these like pool parties. And so all the girls would sleep over like 2 nights in a row.
Yeah.
So that night or that morning we'd come and we'd all line up the flags and we'd all decorate.
Well, yeah, no, that was.
That's not before, but still like we'd all help out.
Yeah, so that's what we were saying. Like yesterday, it was kind of funny because we're like, I don't even know what we do on the 4th of July because that was always last minute decoration. Like I think when you were little, depending on when we would have the party, we hit the parade and then we would come back and fish. But the parties became so big that even if I decorated for a week before, the day of, I was still making a lot of food. I was making all those shots. I was making Jello jigglers.
Yeah, she'd make Jello jigglers, which is she would make stars out of Jello.
Yeah. Everything was patriotic.
Yeah, everybody brought amazing food too.
Oh my gosh, it got to a point that people were bringing like some very fancy food to share. So it was almost every year we got better and better and better.
Oh yeah.
And then I would always end up with at least 10 plates, spoons, whatever that were not mine. I would put this on Facebook the next day and be like, okay, this was left over. Like who did it belong to? And I would have to deliver that the next day. But it was always great.
It was so much fun. We had 200 to 300 people invited, right?
I don't know about 300, but
we had 200.
There was easy 100 to 150 invitations sent.
And they brought people.
Sure 100 people would come. The kids were always invited.
I think the last year though we had almost 200 people.
Well, that was because I think we all knew it was the last year. Our house was for sale, so everybody. But that was a 2020 summer that, like it was iffy, the rules, but we're in Iowa, so it was a little bit more like Florida, a little bit more open if you want to.
And a lot of these people were kind of like quarantining with like just a group of people. Like they all entertain each other.
So we were the same people.
So it was like, I don't know, everybody was kind of like huddled up with their big group of people and just stayed within that group.
Our neighborhood was just very open, all of the friends and stuff. So every day these people are in my backyard.
But it was near the end of July that everything started opening up again. Yeah. It was kind of people just needed to like be outside. So everybody took the opportunity and to like finally see each other again.
Well, and
we all were outside, and
because our old neighbor was here yesterday. Actually, they left early this morning. They came in on the 3rd and left this morning because they're in Orlando. They came down to visit us. And that's the first thing we talked about when she walked in. She's like, oh my gosh, I remember some of your decoration that you have right now, which is like 1/100th of all the shit that I had.
Yeah.
But she's like, I remember this. And she's like, do you remember the last summer of like the 2020 last summer at that house? And that's what we talked about. And you came down at that time. That's all we talked about for
because it can be really like, it can seem not right to say that it was a terrible summer for many people. Yeah. And you can't like leave that out because a lot of people did lose a lot of loved ones, or they went through depression, or a lot of people did commit suicide because they were isolated. But I was very lucky to have my friend group around me, and they slept over every night. We stayed, like, swimming did get canceled, so we didn't have that to socialize or be together. So what we did is we
coach came to our pool.
practice at our pool in the backyard, and we would all sleep over at my house, and that was kind of like our way of quarantining in the country of, like, we were out in the country in Iowa, so it was I would say the rules in Iowa were a lot, like, I don't know, more open.
That's like Florida.
Yeah, so we were all staying at one person's house.
It was a rotation, but everybody in the afternoon, kids were just like, you had to put the kids together, and they were all in the pool. They were all playing. I would say 3 or 4 neighbors in the row. By the time they were done working out of their home, now at that point, they would all be in the pool. And then so our friend Sarah that was here yesterday, that was one of the first things I told her. I said, look, because you're coming in your honor, I made those Jell-O shots. And she was like, oh my gosh. And then we started talking. That is the summer that her husband, who went to Michigan State University, I think that's where she went to, had a recipe book of
Jell-O shots.
And we're like, what? And and we had been like neighbors for at least 5 years. And then last summer he brings this, to us, and he's like, okay, girls, which one do you want? And you guys were not even like 21 at all. And he's like, okay, so which one do I do tomorrow? And so every week he had a different, like, Jell-O shot, 2 Jell-O, whatever. He would bring, his cooler with all the Jell-O shots, and we would try them. Like, one was pina colada. I think that was our favorite.
Yeah.
But anyway, all to say that our patio was, I grew up with a pool. So when we built the house, I built it that it will be functional for pool parties, people coming over, like a different entrance for the bathroom and this and that. And so our patio was covered with a fireplace, the TV, there was a counter, there was a mini fridge, and all of our closest friends had their shelves in the fridge.
Yeah.
So, or they would bring their own coolers, leave the coolers, in our house, whatever, because we had like also a fridge in the garage and one, of course, in the kitchen and in the basement. But so everybody had their things. So I didn't have to buy, drinks. Everybody was furnishing. It was a rotation who brought like big cases of water.
Yeah.
But besides that, it was always very well flowing every year for the 4th of July. But even during the summer, everybody was doing this. And
2020 especially, we found very fun. Oh my gosh. Fun ways to not stay like isolated or cooped up. So we do like fun workouts outside, and we, like, my dad gave me a kettlebell, tied it to my waist, and I went in the pool and treaded water. So, and then the Jell-O shots, having the neighbors come over and take Jell-O shots. We'd do karaoke outside.
Yeah.
We would do Just Dance downstairs with a group of girls. So we were just, finding some way to move still. And
I remember our friend Delight came and was teaching us water aerobics in our pool in the morning. That was really cool. That was really early in the morning. That was the way to start your day, though. Then you're like, I'm done. I just worked out. And it was hard. She was making it really hard for us, but that was funny. Our neighbors were like drinking their coffee, seeing us like, what is going on at the Militich's
they're just out there doing water aerobics. But back to the 4th of July, I remember when all my friends would come, and after setting everything up in the morning, helping people bring in their food, we would all get in the pool, play a bunch of pool games, play volleyball. I never got past like the first round of the sandbag game, but
that was
when
funny.
fireworks,
some people took it really seriously. Yeah, it was like serious competition.
You'd always buy floaties for the pool, the big swan, and it was like red, white, and blue, and then other floaties. And I swear they never made it through the night. It would pop because the guy, like, there'd be kids messing on it, and they'd pop it and break it. Never make it.
Well, we always had one backup. The red, white, and blue was that day, but we always had, and we named them. I remember every summer, like, there was a new one, and you guys named the swan.
Because I swear these kids would mess on it and break it every 4th of July. But we would lay there in the pool while we let off the fireworks, because I think, would somebody supply the fireworks? Did we have like a connection with the fireworks, or would everybody like bring some?
So, some people would bring some, but your dad would always go and get they were donated most of the time. And then, like I said, we had cops that were there as our guests. So, but they were big fireworks, and they were at the end of our house, like of the lot. And that was the deal, that the kids could come and like all the kids could sleep, all your friends, not all the kids, but all of my girls' friends could all sleep in the basement every year for the 4th of July, as long as they helped me the next day. So even the neighbors, everybody would come and pick up all the shit from the fireworks because, oh my gosh, is there some papers and cardboard, and it was all over.
We had to pick up all the firework, like the messes from the fireworks, but just like
bring all the cans, like the pop beer or whatever, because sometimes we didn't have a keg, sometimes we just bought cans.
Yeah.
And then put them all in different fridge, and then it was like, okay, girls, it's like by that time it was like maybe 10, 11.
And then you guys would get some like donuts from Hy-Vee, and we'd have Hy-Vee's are like grocery store in the Midwest,
like
and then
Publix
eggs
here.
and stuff and bacon, and you'd make just a big breakfast.
Yeah, and then for lunch is like leftovers because people like half the people did not leave with their food, so that's why I had all these plates the next day. So I was like, great, that's like food for us tomorrow. So.
And then we go to Atomic, which Atomic is our local energy drink place. And that's what we did all of 2020 was sit in these 2-hour lines to just get an energy drink because that's what we did in my town to see each other from school. We'd be in our cars and we'd all like play music and like wave to each other while we got our energy drink. So every morning after the 4th, we'd go get our energy drink, come back, play some volleyball, and then the kids would go home. But it was a pool day every day. It feels like a movie, like the summer, or it feels like the TV show, like The Summer I Turned Pretty on the 4th of July, like laying there with my friends watching the fireworks. And then we all would tie-dye shirts or do some sort of like, I don't know, like the best trend for, what's the word? Most popular trend, I guess.
Yeah.
For a 4th of July shirt. And we would do that and we'd all match. So.
I just love to entertain, and it just became bigger and bigger. So every year I always had like more new things or lights or decorations or stuff. But I will say throughout the year, especially you and your sister's birthday being in June, we always had big parties too in the backyard or doing some movies like in the garage. But it was supposed to be outside, but it kind of rained. So
my birthday party was pitch perfect, and we just played the 2 movies because the third one wasn't out yet.
Yeah.
And I had all my friends over and we did a movie night, but by the end of it we were all up and dancing and lip syncing.
And you guys were doing, I think that's the day we did during the day, even for your sister, you guys did some tie-dye shirts.
Yeah.
Too. There was always games outside. Since we had the pool, it was just always kind of fun. But we just love to entertain. And what I really do remember from our backyard, and I know it's like an extension of the 4th of July, is we were like I said, all my swim friends, my swim families, I
was a swimmer for 15 years, so
like all the kids were friends.
Yeah.
That's who was always at our house. But we did a rotation, and even if it was not me like hosting that dinner, it was a lot at our house because kids wanted to go and play in the pool. We had a theme every month for a group. We were how many families? 4 or 5.
Families, and we would do like a theme, like seafood boil was one of them.
That's the one I remember because it's in our backyard. And we had made it like we were in Maine. With the paper on the table, and everybody tried some new things. There was mussels. There was it was. We just put all the food on the.
And I'm trying to think of another one that we had, like what the theme was.
I can't remember because that was the most memorable.
Maybe it was like steak or something.
Or when we did when I did my special dessert on the table.
She takes like marshmallows, angel food cake, strawberries, sliced bananas, blueberries, fruits, and then she takes
it's a special chocolate,
and she melts it and drizzles it over all of it, like 3 cans of it, drizzles it, and then it's dark like across caramel. The table, and everybody just picks at it the whole night. We usually eat all of it.
You put that kind of wax paper on your table or counter or whatever. You can make it like a breakfast type. For us, it was a dessert type. And you just put all the goodies that you want, and it's I was going to speak in French, but I'm going to have to speak in French. So it's called Chocolat Favori. It's only in Quebec, in the province of Quebec, or you can buy them online. And they come in cans, and they tell you exactly how to, because you're not supposed to boil a can, but it's made for that. You have to reheat it in pot of water that's boiling. And then you open it up and then you mix it and then you just take a spoon and you drizzle. So like I said, it's like a whole counter. Our kitchen table was really big because we could fit 6 to 8 seats on each side. So the whole table wide was, and then you just like, it's unbelievable. Every time I'd be like, oh my gosh, I don't have enough. And then and people would just come in, start eating. go out, do their thing, play, whatever, come back in, continue
Yeah.
eating. So we would drizzle, like, I didn't like the white chocolates. It was like milk chocolate, dark chocolate, the luce, the
Oh, I don't know. Yeah.
leche something, caramel. I mean, it's just,
She went crazy with it. But then we'd also host like New Year's at our
Yes.
house, and we'd have kid wine, which is Welch's like sparkling grape juice.
you guys still drink that.
And yeah, I love it.
It's still a treat.
And we would have like champagne glasses that were plastic, and then the kids would be downstairs, the parents would be upstairs. We'd have it up on the TV. Yes, we'd have Apples to Apples. And then obviously as we got older, we had Cards Against Humanity. But we'd have a bunch of kids down there. Same like 5 families, kids.
Yeah, pretty much. It's all
And
from
then-
families, yeah.
You would decorate downstairs. And we had like all the headbands and the little like the
Well,
Whee!
Christmas is our favorite holiday too.
Yeah.
So it was always, our house was always,
Which
fancy
my favorite
decorated.
podcast episodes is our Christmas episodes.
Yeah.
We went all out for those, and I love our little like endings of our because I get so excited around Christmas time. Like
too.
I swear I put the most effort into everything around Christmas time. Not that I don't love doing the lightning was crazy.
Yeah.
Not that I don't love like doing our podcast every day, but or every week, but I just loved editing for it
Christmas.
because we always dressed on theme for Christmas, and I
Oh, we're
made
on theme today. We're
little
wearing red,
outros
blue.
for Christmas too, with like little snowflakes and
Yes.
stuff with our logo.
Which is kind of funny because during Christmas we were talking about our 4th of July episode, and now we're the 4th of July.
I know it's
And we're
so
talking
crazy
about
how
Christmas
it's
episode.
crazy how like fast this year's moved,
Yeah.
but it's also like I don't know, if you want to celebrate some Christmas in July, go check out our Christmas podcast
Yes.
episodes and over Christmas we talked about my cousin's wedding that's coming up.
Yep.
And that goes full circle. That's going to be coming up here
2
in the
weeks.
next 2 weeks. So we're going to be filming about that. So if you want a little sneak peek, go check out our episode from this past December.
It was, yeah, because we were in Montreal.
Yeah.
So maybe it was beginning of January that we aired that one.
Okay, yeah. But
So
that
if
was
you
a
see
fun
my
one, yeah.
niece in a bed in between us.
It's so funny.
That's her,
It's so
'cause she's
I love that one, yeah.
hilarious,
But that is pretty much all we have for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it, or at least got to picture this awesome 4th of July party in your head. And I hope you guys had an amazing 4th of July party as well. Or
And
4th of
if-
July.
Or if you're not from the United States, whatever what your day is.
Yeah. My boyfriend wore a London shirt, so I know we have listeners from the UK, so he repped you guys on the 4th of July.
He
So
did.
thank you for you guys. I hope you didn't hate this episode, but
And then we just go to the coffee shop that we
Roasted
absolutely love,
Records.
Roasted Records. So
go get a matcha or their specialty lattes
Yes.
in Stuart, Florida. And we always end with a Would You Rather, which
would
she
you
asks
rather?
me.
And actually, your sister told me that I should do this. 4th of July themed. So, would you rather meet George Washington or Benjamin Franklin?
Well, George Washington. He was the first president.
I know. I mean, I don't know. That's what I would.
He was there for it all. He's like the man of, other than Alexander Hamilton, of course.
Well, okay.
I would choose Alex. My man Alex. But George Washington.
He was not even
Nothing against
American.
Benjamin Franklin, but I would choose
Benjamin Franklin. He's the one that invented those classes, right? Did
Benjamin
he not?
Franklin.
Yeah. Did he not have like? That's from the movie National Treasure. Because there's history in that movie. I learned a lot of stuff in that movie that I
I'm not
did
gonna lie,
know
guys.
about.
I don't know what she's
But
talking
he's
about.
got. Yeah, he had like specific
Like-
classes to see. Anyways, go look it up. I'm gonna look completely idiot, but my excuse is like I'm not. I did not learn all the history, American history.
Yeah, she's French Canadian, so
But
she's
I mean,
weird.
your sister is teaching me more. But I'm telling you, good. I'm gonna have to look this up now.
Yeah. Go follow us on Instagram at @coffee.break, TikTok at @coffee_break, and our podcast episodes come out every Sunday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. We are called Coffee Break with Cat and Mom, if you didn't know. And be sure to go check us out and follow and subscribe and let us know what you guys think. Our DMs are open, so if you guys have any suggestions or just want to chat, we are totally open to that, and we would
Good
love
and bad comments.
Yes, we would love to hear what you guys think. We definitely get some hate comments, so we are used to it. And well, it's not that bad. We don't get that many, but just be nice, I guess. But we love you guys, and we will see you guys next week. Happy 4th of July.